everyone, this is Pico Entertainment and we're back again, and here now we have another video for you, and we're going to take a look back on Hudson Hawk and see as to whether it was really as bad a movie as many have perceived it to be. Was it somehow misunderstood, or was it merely more of a guilty pleasure? So when reflecting on the movie, we go back to its original release date of May the 24th, 1991, where it starred superstar Bruce Willis in the lead role, alongside Andie MacDowell, Danny Aiello, Richard E. Grant, Sandra Bernhard, and it was directed by Michael Lehman. Now, the story of Hudson Hawk follows cat burglar Eddie Hawkins, renowned as Hudson Hawk, who's been an expert in breaking in and bypassing high-tech security. And in the beginning of the movie, we see him coming out of prison on parole, meeting up with his friend Tommy as they go back to their original bar that they're in partnership with. Eddie's looking to settle down much more, leading a small-time life drinking his cappuccino. But his past connections and police associations continually catch up with him, enticing him back into the stealing business. After retrieving a horse statue, Eddie gets more curious about who ordered to have him steal the artifact. When he goes to visit an auction, he gets chased by gangsters, and after escaping them, he gets apprehended by billionaire aristocrats Darwin and Minerva Mayflower. And they want Eddie to steal a machine invented by Leonardo da Vinci, and also a helicopter design, and these objects contain parts of a crystal. When put together, will help function a machine called the Lamacho del Oro, which has the ability to convert lead into gold. Following many twists and turns, Eddie and Tommy must overall go to all out stops to prevent the Mayflowers from putting this machine together. Now, when looking back on Hudson Hawk, to say that it's a strange movie would be definitely an understatement. The movie overall is a weird mix of action, adventure, comedy, fantasy. It's a very quirky and whimsical humour. When put all together, it's definitely one of the most haywire scripts that I think I've ever seen. Now, when reviewing certain movies, you always hear the phrase, just check your brain at the door and enjoy it. And that's a strategy you definitely need to double down on when watching Hudson Hawk. That's the only real way that you can find any enjoyment or entertainment within the film. Now, to be fair, it starts off quite okay, as we see Eddie reluctantly getting back into the thieving business. And I think at this stage, certainly for the first maybe 15 to 20 minutes, there was some potential here for something of a much more of a fast-paced, very quirky comic caper. Maybe it's something similar to what we saw with Ocean's 11. But once Eddie and Tommy break into a rendition of Bing Crosby's Swinging on a Star during the heist, it's a sequence that kind of tells you what this film really wants to be. And if you're watching for the first time, it will probably leave you very perplexed and confused as to what exactly you're watching. Now, it can be a good thing to an extent for a film to have a complete awareness of what it is, that it wants to be fun and it doesn't take itself too seriously. We refer, for example, to the Naked Gun films. But in the case of Hudson Hawk, it seems that everybody involved had way too much fun and didn't really take anything seriously at all. Even in any action comedy or slapstick film, you still need some sense of logic or reality, and Hudson Hawk loses that sense of perspective very fast. We have characters jumping out of buildings, we don't see them land, and then we quickly cut to a next scene where we see them sitting in the living room. Multiple times Eddie can just be shot and killed, but for some reason he's tied up and kept alive for another day. We have moments when characters should surely meet their death, but they somehow survive. We have sequences where we see Eddie driving along a hospital bed in the streets. We have the very nauseating scene where we see Andie MacDowell's character constantly making noises when she's under a state of paralysis. And the movie just gets even more silly and idiotic as it goes on. Again, how much you tolerate it depends on your own preference in terms of tone and comedy. Now, in terms of the performances, all actors were clearly given license to ham it up as much as possible. And in fairness, Bruce Willis, Danny Aiello and Andie MacDowell are quite likeable in their roles and probably had a lot of fun playing these type of characters. Both Richard E. Grant and Sandra Bernhard go way over the top, but again, that's probably a fault more of the direction and the writing and the script rather than the actors' own individual performances or acting ability. And the movie just continues to go into excess to the point where you really think, were people really invested or interested in the project? And from watching it recently once more, I'd have to say that the answer is no. So when looking at the box office release of the movie, and it was one of the biggest box office disasters of 1991, grossing only $97 million worldwide from a $65 million budget. It was especially a major flop in the United States, where it only managed to gross around $17 million. Now, I think the primary reason for the film's failure was the misconception of the movie's tone, especially from the marketing, where initially audience felt it was going to be much more of a serious action adventure, especially with Die Hard superstar Bruce Willis involved in the lead role. Ironically, he did in many ways produce a superior action film in the same year with the supremely entertaining The Last Boy Scout. Audiences simply weren't prepared for the complete tonal shift and dynamic of the film, which was far more closer to a slapstick comedy rather than a hard-edged actioner. After the major success of Die Hard 2 Die Harder a year before, Hudson Hawk was a major flop in Bruce Willis's career, and it would take him a couple of years to bounce back to mainstream A-level success with Die Hard with a Vengeance in 1995. And when we look back on Hudson Hawk, go back to the original question of whether it's really a terrible movie or much more of a guilty pleasure. Well, it's definitely a movie that I think you have to be in the right frame of mind to truly enjoy, which kind of indicates that it's probably not a good movie. Now, admittedly, when I watched it recently, there were some scenes which did make me laugh out loud, just more at the pure silliness rather than it being particularly brilliant in terms of comedic timing. But when watching this film, you probably need a couple of alcoholic drinks, just so you can indeed check your brain at the door and get lost in all of the silliness and insanity and idiocy and just laugh at the film overall. And if you come into this film with that mindset, you'll probably find it much more enjoyable and entertaining. So overall, I'd probably say it's much more of a guilty pleasure for somebody who prefers that kind of silly type of direction rather than being an actual good movie, still many years after its overall release. So there's my thoughts and feelings when looking back on Hudson Hawk. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you have any other movies or television series or any other topics within the entertainment and pop culture scene that you'd like to see me cover, then let me know within the comments and I will see if I can provide further commentary for you on that subject matter within the future. Please also hit and like the subscription and notification buttons so I can provide you with more high quality content like this in the future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves and I will see you very, very soon.